Hello, book friends. Welcome back. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you all for clicking that watch button on today. So today I am doing my March wrap up. I have 11. Did you hear me? I have 11 books for the month of March wrap up. I had not even realized that I had read even 7 books. The month went so fast. It was just, when I went to tally up, I'm like, oh my goodness. So you guys, this video will probably be just a little bit more lengthier than usual. Because I've read so many books, I am going to have to look down at my notes. I had 4 audiobooks for this month. I had 6 books that I've read, and I have a DNF, guys. Now, this is a soft DNF. I really think because of the amount of reading that I was doing and the type of books that I've read this month, that it may have been that I just wasn't feeling it because of the flow that I was in with the other types of books that I was reading. So this is going to be a soft DNF. I really do want to continue to read, or try to read this book that I've DNF'd, but we shall see. So without further ado, I am going to start with my audiobooks that I've read for the month of March. I may have said this before with what the type of work that I do. I'm sitting at a computer all day. You're looking at 8 hours a day, and so that's why it is sort of easy for me to get through that many audiobooks. Especially this month. I mean, this was a longer month. So we are going to jump right in. All of these audiobooks, in case I forget to tell you, are 3 stars. Okay. All of these were 3 stars. And I'm going to start with, let me see. I think I'm going to start with, The Devil You Know. And let's see, The Devil You Know is by Frida McFadden, okay? I decided that instead of, buying a bunch of Frida McFadden books, because, I love her style of writing. I like, they're really quick, easy reads. But I already know that these are books that I'm not necessarily going to want to just keep on my shelf. So I've been going back on her backlog and just been doing audiobooks. So I do have 2 of her books here. And like I said, one being The Devil You Know by Frida McFadden. I'm going to read the synopsis for all of these audiobooks just because I didn't know I was going to read them when I was giving my my books for the month. So I'm going to read the synopsis on all of these. And let's start with, The Devil You Know. So this is Dr. Jane McGill is in heaven. She's got a job. She's got a great job at the VA hospital, an adorable daughter, and a loving husband. Granted, it would be wonderful if her preschooler wouldn't wake her up at 3 a.m, and it would be a miracle if her husband would change the toilet paper roll once every millennial. Still, in most ways, she has the ideal life she's always imagined. Then Jane discovers that Dr. Ryan Riley is the VA's newest vascular surgeon. Dr. Ryan, a sexy surgeon, the biggest jerk she's ever loved a decade ago. Jane broke up with this sexy surgeon to marry the nice software engineer, but as cracks and crevices appear in her marriage, she can't help but wonder what life would have been like if she made a different choice, or if it isn't too late to change her mind. Now, we are used to Frida's thrillers, okay? But this one threw me for a loop. This was more of a book about life, about love, about, what if, second chances, all the things. And, in this story, our female main character, Jane, I kind of like Jane. If you were to put yourself in her shoes, when you go through reading the story, there are many times where, I even felt like she may have been justified about some of the choices that you think she's going to make. But at the end of the day, this book ended on a really good note. It was sad. Now, it was some sadness in this book. I just want to, give that. It was some sadness in this book. But overall, I really liked the book. Like I said, it's about life. It was about life and some of the things that we could come against, even with, trying to figure out if we made the right or wrong choices about a situation. So I really think that, if you're looking for something different from Frida McFadden, The Devil would be a good pick. All right. So the next book that I have would be The Crash. Okay. Now, The Crash is Frida McFadden all day, honey. This one, oh my gosh. As always, I don't know if Frida is planning this, but the female main characters of these thrillers, honey, they are so dingy. Like, they dingy. And it's all good because her thrillers are fun. I like them. But they just dingy. But anyway, the synopsis for this book is that, let's see, the nightmare she's running from is nothing compared to where she's headed. Tegan is 8 months pregnant, alone, and desperately wants to put her crumbling life in the rearview mirror. So she hits the road, planning to stay with her brother until she can figure out next moves, but she doesn't realize she's heading straight into a blizzard. She never arrives at her destination, stranded in the Romaine with a dead car and broken ankle. Tegan worries she's made a terrible mistake. Well, of course you did, child. Then, a miracle, she is rescued by a couple who offers her a room in their warm cabin until the snow clears. But something isn't right. Imagine that. Tegan believes she was waiting out the storm, but as time ticks by, she comes to realize she is in grave danger. This safe haven isn't what she thought it was, and staying here may have been her most deadly mistake yet. And now she must do whatever it takes to save herself, her unborn child, and a gut-wrenching story of motherhood survival. And it is twisted. Okay? Now, there is a certain word in this book that I don't ever have to hear again. And all I'm going to say is tuna, okay? Tuna. That woman, the female main character, drove me nuts with that word. I'm not going to tell you what the word is associated to, but all I'm going to tell you is I do not like tuna, okay? I do not like the word. I love tuna, but I do not like that word. Overall, this thriller, it had its twists and turns. For the most part, like I said, this was your typical Frida McFadden book. You know, you always gonna get the twisting and the turning. I can say that, did I really like the ending? I liked the ending of this book, and it still ended with a twist. okay? But I think you would really enjoy this book if you're looking for a palate cleanser or something just real quick. Freedom McFadden is your girl. All right? So, the next book that I read is Home is Where the Bodies Are. And guys, as I said, I gave all of these audiobooks 3 stars. That's all they were getting from me, okay? But Home is Where the Body Is. It's a chilling family thriller about the skeletons in the closet. After their mother passes, 3 estranged siblings reunite to sort out her estate. Beth, the oldest, never left home. She stayed with her mom, caring for her until the very end. Nicole, the middle child, has been kept in arm's length due to her ongoing battle with a serious drug addiction. And Michael, the youngest, lives out of state and hasn't been back to their small Wisconsin town since their father ran out on them 7 years before. While going through their parents' belongings, the siblings stumble upon a collection of home videos and decide to revisit their happier memories. However, the nostalgia is cut short when one of the VHS tapes reveals a night back in 1999 that none of them have had any recollection of. On screen, their father appears covered in blood. What follows is deadly. So, child, this book was something. I'm really glad that I did this book on audio because I feel like if I would have actually just sat and read the book, I may have at some points, would have not been as interested. But because a lot of the twisting and the turning didn't happen until near the end of the book, or not the end of the book, maybe I don't know, maybe 60%, 70% of the book. For me, it didn't start getting good. But the twists and the turns, it was some stuff going on in this that it really had me, it did its thriller thing. Geneva Rose, I believe this may have been, this was not my first book by Geneva Rose, because I read the marriage one. But I wanted to kind of go on the back list and grab a couple of her other books and see how her writing was. And like I said, this one was okay. It was okay. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. I would recommend it. Once again, if you're looking for something really quick, got a little thrill to it, this will do you. All right. So, let me see. What was my last audio book? Let me see, guys. I think it was, now, this last audio book, and now that I think about it, I probably could have gave it a 3.5. The Woman in the Cabin by Becca Day. All right. I am once again glad I did this book on audio, because if I was reading it, I might have DNF'd it, just because a lot, probably, I want to say 80% of the book was slow. It was slow. Let me read the synopsis for you. Every day in a remote cabin hidden deep in the woods in the Scottish Highlands, Mary wakes up before dawn to make breakfast from scratch. She tends the garden and feeds the animals. Every night, Mary makes sure she has dinner on the table for when her husband, Cal, gets home from work. She puts on his favorite lipstick and greets him with a smile. "I've missed you" is not true, and he knows it. But he likes to hear it all the same. Mary is the perfect wife, and like any good wife, she knows her job to keep her husband happy. But lately, as she notices her first wrinkles appear, she can sense Cal change. A scowl at dinner, not being ready on time, too tight grip as he leads her to the bedroom, tells her he noticed too. And old memories are coming back to her life before the cabin. Then she finds a stack of letters hidden under the floorboards, detailing a life eerily familiar to her own. I'm going to stop right there because if I read anymore, I'm giving y'all too much, okay? I am giving y'all too much. I feel like I may have already given you too much because, like I said, this story was slow. This was slow, child. And, but the near the end, it got good. It really got good. It was some serious twisting and turning in this book. Like I said, I probably would go back and give this book a 3.5. I do recommend it if you're not a person who minds the slow burn, because it does, through the book, it does keep you interested. It's not like so slow that it's like boring, but it's slow. Like you can see stuff boiling. You can see the water boiling. Okay, you can feel it boiling, but you just gotta hold on, child. You gotta hold on to see what the end gonna be. And this is definitely one of those books. I'm actually thinking about reading another one of her books. So I do recommend this book if you're looking for a thriller, because it's gonna give you all that. But once again, you know how you are. If you don't like slow burns at all, this might not be the book for you. All right. So now I am going to jump into my physical books that I read for the month of March. But before I do that, if you have not already, please go ahead, click that like button. Hit that subscribe button, honey. Look, give me some comments on the end, even if it's going to be the little pic that I'm going to put on the end of this video. Say something, speak something to me, all right? Say something to me. So let's start with the books. Now, Fanny Donovan is killing it. This was on my book read TBR for the month of March. However, I did not finish this book in March. I just finished it on April Fool's Day, okay? So I'm going to include this book for April. I just wanted to let you guys know, since I did have it on my TBR, that I did finish it. I just finished it a day late, honey. A day late, all right? Day late, penny short, all the things. But you will hear this review wrap up in April. Now, my one DNF, guys, and like I said, I feel like because of the types of books that I read, I read a lot of thrillers. I had some historical fiction, mystery, I did have a historical romance type, a couple, one historical romance and then another romance. So I think because of the types of books that I was reading, that this one, Frederick Bachman's Anxious People, I just wasn't feeling it. Let me see. I think I had got to like chapter 19 in this book, and his chapters are really small. They're usually like 2 or 3 pages. From what I'm seeing, and he's a new author for me, guys. So just getting used to his writing style alone may have been part of, the issue with me too. I really like his writing style. It's easy, but like I said, I think because of the type of writing that this is, or the genre that this is, it was just too slow for me right now. I was on a thriller thing. I'm moving. And so I am not going to totally DNF this book, but I think what I'll do is read some of his newer books that I have on my shelf and then come back and read this one. All right, guys? So Now we are gonna go with all of my other books. Now, I'm gonna do this in the order that I gave the stars, and we're gonna go from there. So this book, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, let me see, what did I give it, y'all? I think I gave this a 3.5. Let me see. No, I gave this book a 3-star. Now, I was super, super, super excited about reading this book because of the theme of traveling back in time. Okay, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Tahash, how do you say that? Tosh Kawaguchi. Forgive me, y'all, if I said that wrong. I probably should have looked his name up or how to pronounce it, or her. I don't even know if it's a man or a woman, but I really, really was looking forward to reading this book. You all guys, several book people have already talked about this book. But in a small back alley of Tokyo, there's a cafe that's been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. The local legend says that this shop offers something else besides coffee, the chance to travel back in time. Over a course of one summer, 4 customers visit the cafe in the hopes of making that journey, but the travel isn't so simple. And there are rules that must be followed. Most important, the trip can last only as long as it takes for the coffee to get cold. Now, that alone was like, yes, this is going to be super good, you know. And so I was really excited about it. I think what kind of made me just give this book a 3-star was the time of the 4 people who went back in time, that time of the conversations that took place and what was going on. That was what was kind of boring to me. And it kind of drug it a little bit. I mean, this book is not super big. I mean, it's small, but it was still 286 pages. Now, like I said, it wasn't that the book wasn't interesting. It just wasn't interesting enough. Okay. And, you know, like I said, I felt like it was going to be more about the time travel other than the conversations in between. Like, yeah, tell me why this person is going back. But I don't need a whole bunch of why they going back. You know what I'm saying? They going back because of this. All right, let's hit the road. Let's go back. I mean, after all, you only got to the coffee get cold. Okay. So let's spend more time on the other side. All right. And that's what I was looking for in this book. You know, I have the other book. I think I have 2 of the other books on my shelf. I'm definitely going to read them. I'm not saying that this is not a good book to recommend. I honestly feel it depends on the person. All of these are objective. It depends on how a person feels. So I would never say that a book is not good. Okay, I'm not an author. I mean, I could be, I think, but I think that all authors, anybody that writes a book, you know, I think that is absolutely amazing. Whatever story they're trying to tell, whatever they're trying to do with that book, you know, I feel like they're doing it wholeheartedly or whatever. So for me to say that their book is crap, I'm not going to say that. Okay, I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is that it just didn't interest me. Okay. And in this case, this one did. I love the theme of this book. I love what they were trying to do here. But like I said, it just was not more than 3-star for me. So we'll see what the other books from this author give me. Okay. The next book that we're going to do, I believe, is, let me see. All right, that was my last 3-star. Okay, so the next book that I am going to do, these are all my 4.5, because like I said, I only had one 5-star. So the rest of these that I'm going to show you guys are 4.5, just in case, like I said, I forget to tell you. All right. Alice Feeney, Beautiful Ugly. My. Oh my gosh. This was my first read by her. And I'm going to tell you, child, this book had me jumping. All right. Had me creeped out in some instances. This book was so good. All right. We know that this is about, I'm going to just read it. Arthur Grady Green is having the worst day of his life. He calls his wife Abby to share some exciting news. As she is driving home, he hears Abby slam on the brakes. When she sees something in the road ahead over Grady's protest, Abby gets out of the car, okay? When he eventually finds her by the cliff edge, the headlights are on, the driver's door is open, her phone is still there, but his wife has disappeared. A year later, Grady is still overcome with grief and desperate to know what happened to Abby. He can't sleep, he can't write, so he travels to a tiny remote Scottish island to try to get his life back on track, and then he sees the impossible, a woman who looks exactly like his wife. First of all, I am loving the books that are about books or about authors writing books. So this was so cool. This book about the man. And one thing that even from the synopsis, it's just like them scary movies where you be like, really? You really had to fall? Wow, y'all got to fall in the movie all the time. Watch where you going. So for him to hear her and for her to even just get out the car. I mean, I get it. We wouldn't have a book if she wouldn't have got out the car, okay? It wouldn't be a thriller if we didn't try to find out why she got out the car and what happened to her, okay? I get all of that. But after I get past that, after I get past my shenanigans, this book turned out to be so good. I gave it a 4.5. I feel like it was on the tilt of a 4 point. I wouldn't have, let me see. I may have given this a 5-star just because of the creepiness and the emotions that it brought out of me. But, you know, I mean, it was some parts that were a little slow for me. Just some little parts. Not too bad. It kept the pages turning. I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with a 4.5. This is definitely a book that I would recommend by Alice Feeney. You know, all the hype, all the things. It was very well worth reading this book. But I don't know. I think I'll probably leave it at a 4.5. And I do recommend you reading this thriller. All right. So the next book that I have is Everyone Here is Lying by Sherry Lapina. Now, let me tell you, child, you know that I love me. And if you don't know, now you know. That Sherry Lapina has become one of my auto-buy. Like, I don't even have to read the synopsis. Like, she's new to me just, you know, in the last going on year and a half or whatever, that I've started grabbing her books, and I love Sherry Lapina. Okay, this book was really good. I gave this a 4.5. Let me see. On the surface, William Wooler is a family man, but he's been having an affair that ended horribly this afternoon at a motel up the road. When he returns, his house is devastated, aiming to find his difficult 9-year-old daughter, Avery, unexpectedly home from school. William loses his temper. Hours later, Avery's family declares her missing. Oh my goodness. Suddenly, Stanhope doesn't feel safe anymore. Let me tell you something. This one, it had a lot of twists and turns. This one was good. It was good. I'm not going to say a whole lot about this book. All I know is it's a 4.5 in my sight, okay? The husband, he got on my nerves a little bit. He did. He got on my nerves a little bit. Even the wife. I think, I won't say that they were unlikable characters, but they kind of got on my nerves a little bit. They really did. And, well, no, see, I can't even talk about that because that would be kind of like a spoiler, and I hate spoilers, okay? If you just can't go by the fact that I said it's a 4.5 and I recommend it, then I don't know what else to tell you because I don't want to give you any more spoilers. I already feel like the synopsis should have you wanting to grab this book, okay, friends? So, my next book. Oh, my goodness. A Love Song for Ricky Y by Tia Williams. First of all, once again, she is an auto-buy for me. I am loving some Tia Williams. And I believe the person who had me grab this book, and it's always YouTubers that, I'm watching a lot of different YouTubers, but you have your absolute favorites. And when I say favorite, I'm saying like people who you really trust their book recs because, you've tried them and they haven't failed you. And even if they did, because once again, my opinion might be different from even the person that I like so much watching. But I think, Aaliyah, Bookmark by Aaliyah. I love Bookmark by Aaliyah. I love her. I love a lot of people, but when I first wanted to get this book, she was the one talking about it. And when I tell you, I absolutely love this book. We talking about some type of magical romance. By chapter 7, honey, it was all gas and no brakes for me. Like, I really, other than to just go to sleep and wake up the next day, could not put this book down. And the male character, child. It had to be magical, honey. It had to be a magical romance. I'm not saying there's not real men like this in the world. They somewhere, and I do love, now don't get me wrong, I love my man, my babes, but this guy in this book, honey, the main male character, it was dreamy. It really was dreamy. I love this book. 4.5. If you're looking for a magical romance, it's all the things. It is all the things. And that's all I'm really going to say about it. You just got to grab it. She did 7 Days in June. I haven't read 7 Days in June yet. I got to get that one. I got to get that book. Yeah. All I can say is get it, grab it. I think this will really be even a really great summer read. So if you're into the themes of spring, summer, fall kind of thing, if you haven't got this already, get it. My next book is Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray. I gave this book, at first I had gave it a 4 star, but then I had to let it marinate a little bit because when I thought about how this book made me feel, once I got all my feels, and really thought about this book, I went back and I changed it to a 4.5. Okay. This book just came out this year. I love Victoria Christopher Murray. She is the author of, a couple of other historical fictions that I've already read. And I've just grown to fall in love with her writing. The personal librarian. I really loved her writing. I was looking forward. As you see, I got it tabbed up a little bit. Just things that And the tabs, and I can tell you what the tabs are, you know, the tabs are really like play about people. I tabbed some of the people, places, and different things that I wanted to just go back and look in history about. So that was one thing that I really liked about this book and was expecting the history about the Harlem Renaissance. And the reason why I gave it a 4.5 was because I felt like the book was more about the affair with what's her name, Fawcett, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, and W.E.B. Du Bois. I felt like it was a lot of the book focused. I won't even say focused, but a lot of it, you read about the affair. You read about all the things that she felt, while having this affair with this man, and, all the things. And does that take away from W.E.B. Du Bois and they people just like anybody else? But I was looking more for history. Like, I thought this was gonna, and some people don't want to hear a whole lot about history. But I thought that's what this was about when I grabbed it, that I was going to learn a lot more about the works of Fawcett and W.E.B. Du Bois. It talks a lot about her works. I don't feel like it really went in depth about anything, but like I said, overall, I love to hear about the history. I got a lot of good references, a lot of good things that I can go back and look. You would love it. You would love it. Like I said, depending on if you're going all in wanting to know about, if you're going in wanting to know about this romance, and I don't know that the synopsis, does it talk about it? First, like, going to hold a position, but she holds a secret that jeopardizes it all. Yeah, it talks about the fact that he's her lover. Okay, so if you were to read this and you're going into this book more on the basis of the affair, you're going to get what you're looking for. If you're going into this book to just really find out about W.E.B. Du Bois outside of the affair, like who he is as a person, I don't know that I got a lot about that. Because, honey, Papa, he was rolling, honey. He had a lot going on. And I don't know that I learned much about him, which the good thing about it is because I didn't get everything that I was looking for or thought this book would present, I ended up getting another book by W.E.B. Du Bois, not by him, but about him. So at least that's the good side of it, that it did trigger me to do that. I won't continue to go on and on. I need to get to this 5-star, y'all. OMGG, all the things. Real by Kennedy Ryan. Child. Like, I almost want to read this book over, but she thick, honey. She is thick. She was thick. And I'm sure I will read this book again. But child, when I tell you, real. First of all, the spice is real in this book. Okay? So if you one of those people, I mean, some of them had me blushing with my own self, but child, it's a lot of spice. So all I can tell you is if you're one of those people who don't like a lot of spice, you're going to be flipping through some pages, okay? You're going to be flipping through. But at the end of the day, this love story between this actor and actress and this producer was phenomenal. Like, Cannon Holt, who is the main male character in this book, girl, he was all that and a bag of chips, okay? He was all of that. I don't care if he was grumpy. I could get past the grumpy, honey. Because at the end of the day, there is always usually a reason why people grumpy and whatever. Everybody got a story. So I overlooked that, and I know she Neva, who was the female main character, I'm sure she looked over it too, okay? Because he was, not that I'm for scandal, not that I'm for, a lot of stuff, but he was worth the scandal. He definitely was worth the scandal. And once again, I can't even talk about Neva a whole lot because it'll be spoilers for me, because I don't think, it doesn't talk about on the synopsis why I feel like Cannon is all that. Let's get past all the spiciness. If we take that out, he still was all that. If we take out the spiciness, he still was all that because of the love that he gained for Neva. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Pick this up. Pick it up. If you have not read it, read it. It is so good, y'all. It is so good. So, thank you all. If you have made it to the end of this video, if you have not liked it yet, I need you to go ahead and do that. If you have not subscribed and you want to see my craziness again, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button. Most of all, if you think that I would be a hoot to share with somebody else, go ahead and share my videos, okay? I decided, some of you know my story. If you watch my very first video, even my second video, like, I decided I've been wanting to do YouTube, BookTube for a long time. And so I decided on my 51st birthday that I was going to jump all in. And so November of last year is when I started my channel. I'm loving it. I love to read. I'm doing this for fun. Like, I know that I really don't go in real deep on books that I read because really I read them. I enjoy them while I'm reading them. And then it's like in and out. I don't have a lot of space up here, y'all. It's not a lot of free space I'm working with. So I got to read it. It's like eating a meal. I'm going to enjoy this meal while I'm eating it. And then after that, you know where it go, okay? So it's in and out for me. And so I like reading for fun. It's a way of escapism for me. So I'm not trying to get too tangled up. I live a beautiful life. I'm not saying that it's a way of escapism to where I'm living this bad life and I just got to get away type thing. But it's a way for me to just enjoy other characters, other people, other worlds, all the things. And so I love reading it. So on this channel, you may not get a lot of in-depth, reviews or anything like that. I'm going to give you the review that's on the book. I just feel like, and I think I've said it before, it's not my job to make you want to go buy the book. They're not paying me to do that, child. They're not paying me at all. So I'm definitely just doing it because it's fun. I love the community. I love the people. I've met some great friends through BookTube. And it's just all the things. It's fun for me. And so with that being said, I appreciate every subscriber. I appreciate all of you who take the time out to just even watch my videos. Because there's so many great booktubers out there. So many, with all the bells and whistles and all of the things. It's just me in my own little space here on the net. So I don't take it for granted that you all take the time to watch me and my craziness. But that's who I am. Okay. So thank you all so much. Look, if you don't do anything else, keep being who you are, and that's a star. So keep shining. Until next time, bye.